Alright. Hello. It's been a while. I am here to talk about a brand new trick that has been discovered in Crystal Clear, or at least brought to my attention by Vomica. And it's probably an oversight. It involves two of the game's mechanics, one of which is in the vanilla game and one of which is very much not. And it allows you to get Master Balls without the use of RNG manipulation. So I'm going to try to perform the glitch, or it's not really a glitch. I'm going to try to perform the trick and show you how it works, and go through some of the nuances that I've observed, at least. I'm still relatively new to this trick, by the way, so I don't know all of the nuances yet, but I promise I will know all of the nuances by the time I do my next 100% or whatever long category run. Which might be sooner than you think. So to start here, this is just going to be generic house movement. Or house menuing, rather. No nickname. Go to the options. Set the text speed to none. Always run on is just my preference, because I don't like holding the B button down to run everywhere. And actually, before we go anywhere, I'm going to go to the Pokegear. I'm going to disable league calls like I normally do. And then when we go to Pokegear, I'm going to go to the radio. $36997. Okay. Unfortunately, that's not what I want. Now, if I go in here, obviously, if I go to my ID number, it's not going to be... Yeah, it's not 36697. Right. But that doesn't matter, because we can re-roll this as many times as we want. So theoretically, right, if we just keep soft resetting, eventually we'll hit the 1 in 65,000 chance, right? Yeah, that's totally... No. That's not why we're here. We are going to now reset the clock because it did save the game. Now I'm going to set it back one day. Now I'm going to check the lucky number again. And you see that it's different. Okay. The fact that it's 07861 is perfect. Okay, so you'll notice that number stays, even though I've already talked to the guy, that number still stays. Right? Like if I go back to the Pokegear radio. $07861. So here's what we're going to do. Now, note that that still doesn't match my lucky ID, right? Or that still doesn't match my trainer ID. But it's low. And that's what's important, is that it is a low lucky number. So what we're going to now do is we're going to fly to AceTrainer HQ, which you can get there from Mount Moon. So if we go over this little hidden... hump here, and we go into this building here. We're going to go into this corner of AceTrainer HQ. I'm going to interact with a couple of bookshelves here. Okay. And a little TV pops up. Now, just to be clear, this isn't some arbitrary code. You interact with this bookshelf because it's number 0, and this bookshelf because it's number 2. And it spells 0, 2, 2, 0, or 220, which is Swinub's Pokedex number. So it's not an arbitrary number, but it does pull up this little TV. And with it, we can adjust what's called the HSL. And this is for making it so that your Pokemon can show up with different color palettes in Stadium 2. However, what it can also do is change your trainer ID. So I have to remember real quick. If you press start, you'll just go through all of it. I have to remember what the lucky ID number is, actually. Oh, I have no signal. I have to remember what the lucky ID number is. I think it's 07816, but yeah. Oh, I'm in Kanto. Yeah, so normally in a speedrun I'd be writing this down, but still. Oh, 07861. Okay. 07861, 07861. Okay, so now that I've written that down, like I should have the first time, we're going to go back to the HSL editor. And I'm going to use my Bulbasaur here as a little bit of a test subject. This is 078... No. Yeah. 078... '61. Now when we fly back to Goldenrod, I now have a Pokemon with an OTID of 07861. This changes a lot. Master Balls normally cost $150,000 each. 100% buys 4 of them, and Professor Oak's challenge would buy 6 in the current route that I have semi-planned out. This is huge. This is a huge time save, because that whole sequence, when done optimally, without having to reset the clock, takes a couple minutes. It takes like 5 minutes tops, right? I didn't actually have live split pulled up, so I couldn't tell the actual amount. But it's not that long. It's pretty fast. The amount of time it takes to get $150,000 by grinding is like 20 to 25 minutes. This is massive. Now, so what's the issue with this, right? It's not RNG manipulation, because we didn't change the RNG. We have an OTID editor that can go up to a certain amount, and I'll explain that in a second. Alright, so the first problem with this is that it goes against the speedrun.com rules of the category. Alright, I have here the category-specific rules for Manipless. Alright, hard resets are banned. That's fine. That makes perfect sense. Hard resetting would manipulate the RNG. However, runs using the lucky number show will be assumed to have manipulated the lucky ID and rejected. I think this is no longer true. This is no longer true because we can utilize the OTID editor from the TV and AceTrainer HQ to get a Master Ball without manipulating the RNG. What I just did was not RNG manipulation, and yet it's still banned under the rules of Manipless. I think that needs to be brought up in a discussion. So I'm going to reach out to Kat, and I'm going to reach out to Grizz, and if I can, I'm going to reach out to Greystripe. and Shock Slayer. And we're going to put our heads together and see what kind of an impact this is going to have on the rules. If there is no change, this is scenario 1, if there's no change to the rules, then I will be submitting my next 100% run to the Manip category with this trick. And all will be fine. If there is a change to the rules, I will be running Professor Oak's challenge instead. Using the rules of this category, or using this trick. I will be using this trick in whatever long speedrun I do next. The other problem with this, though, there is actually another problem with this trick. And unfortunately it adds an aspect of RNG into the run, despite the fact that it's lucky numbers. I mean, what do you expect, honestly, right? The unfortunate part about this is that there is some limitation with the OTID editor. It doesn't go up to 65,535. So I got a little bit lucky here. Well, I didn't get lucky the first time. It was in the 30,000s. But I got lucky with a low lucky number, because the OTID editor in AceTrainer HQ does not go up to 65,535, and instead only goes up to 29,375, as I'm about to show. What that means is that just under half of the OTID values will work for this trick. And so it's going to be, like, I showed that it is possible to re-roll the lucky ID number pretty quickly, but you do still lose around 30 seconds per reset of the clock for this. Yeah, now if I set this all the way to its maximum value here, if I set the OTID to its maximum value here, you'll see that it goes up to 23,209. That's what I meant. It only goes up to 23,295. So if I go to my little calculator here, because I am good with numbers, but I'm not perfect with numbers. 23,295 divided by 65,536 possible values. Actually, it should be 23,296 values that we have access to, divided by 65,536 possible values, is around a 35% chance of this working. So that means that every time the lucky number is re-rolled, there's about a 35.5% chance that it will be within range of us to get a free Master Ball with. Okay? So that means on average, we'll be taking around 3 attempts to do, to get a free Master Ball. Around 3 attempts to get a free Master Ball, which means that we'll be doing the 5 minutes of this entire sequence plus 2 resets of the clock, which adds another minute. So that's around 6 minutes per Master Ball, which still saves a gargantuan amount of time over the 20 minutes that it would take to get the Master Balls from grinding. Anyway, this is what I wanted to show. This is just some food for thought. I am very excited about the potential for the longer categories that this trick has to offer. Bye for now. And I will probably post an update with, once I get some feedback back from the mods.